Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 7, and we would like to present to you the Activity 2, 3, and 4. I am Jonela Ancheta, your first presenter for the Activity 2, Making an Online or Virtual Learning Environment Safe and Conducive. So, in doing our Activity 2, we have observed the class of grade 3 pupils taking their mathematics subject in Colegio San Jose de Alaminos. We also interviewed Miss Erica Botacion, the class advisor of the said grade and school. We have given her some questions, and she was freely express and share her experiences as an online teacher. Of course, in doing our activity 2, we have learned the following. First, the advantage of using the practical and feasible classroom routines and procedures in managing the virtual or online learning, because having this is one of the key in providing a safe and conducive learning environment, especially this time of online learning. Second, we also assess and analyze critical opportunity educational intervention in creating a safe and conducive online learning, which we can acquire in creating a safe and conducive online learning, such as making use of alternative learning resources like educational videos and other audiovisual materials. Third, we also learned the various concepts of learning strategies in establishing classroom routines and procedures, which we can adopt and apply in establishing our own classroom routines and procedures in an online class setup. Fourth, we also know and learn the importance of creating or having a safe and conducive learning environment during online learning. This is to make the learners feel or learn comfortably with no distractions and can express themselves freely. And lastly, we learn how to promote an active participation of the learners and teachers using modern technologies like Kahoot application and other technological tools even when they are geographically remote. For this activity, the problem that we have encountered is the idea that how can we provide safe and secure learning environment even though or knowing that we are only having each other through screens. It is something that we reflected on the question, as a millennial teacher, how can we make the environment safe and conducive to learners? Wherein, there are 4 ways we highlighted on our reflection, which will be discussed by our next presenter, Miss Richelle and Majin.
Okay, thank you for that, Jonela. So I am Richelle and Majin, the second discussant of Group 7. So in our reflection, these are our additional thoughts and our analysis to what we have learned and experienced during the interview and observation with Miss Erica Botacion. So we all know that learning plays a vital role in the student's progress, and teacher plays a significant role in making this learning environment safe and conducive. As a millennial teacher, in order to make this learning environment safe and conducive, we should design our classroom into a child-friendly arrangement, where everyone can move freely and safely and can be comfortable despite of their different learning needs. Next, we should implement a well-managed, well-planned, and well-organized classroom management. Because a well-organized classroom sends a clear and positive message to our students, which could mean to them that this room was created for them with their specific needs in mind, because them and their learning are important. Third is by fostering a positive relationship towards our students, where they can feel our care for them, emotionally, academically, spiritually, and of course, the sense of belongingness and equality inside the class, even if it's in physical or virtual class. Lastly, we should celebrate and appreciate our students' progress and achievements so that they could be more motivated and increase their engagement and interest. And on the last part of our reflection, there's a saying from Alficon, which only means that when our students are comfortable, he or she will not be shy to ask questions, will not be afraid to take risks and make errors, and they could communicate their feelings, and with that, they could grow. So that's all the content of our reflection in Activity 2. Thank you very much. The next discussant will be Miss Buaga.
Good day everyone, I am Angelene Buaga, the first presenter for Activity 3, which is all about focusing on creating my classroom or remote learning management plan. For this activity, we observed a pre-recorded online class of grade 3 in Colegio San Jose de Alaminos, and we conducted an online interview with Miss Maria Teresa Gula, a grade 6 teacher in Jesus is Lord Christian School in San Nicolas, Pangasinan. With the class observation and conducted interview in accomplishing this activity, we learned the following. First one, aside from being able to describe the components of learning management plan, we also learned to identify the best practices of a teacher in creating an effective classroom or remote learning management plan in different components, which we can adapt and apply in creating our learning management plan that is effective in classroom or even in remote learning. We also learned the importance of a well-planned classroom management in achieving a productive study environment, especially on this time of blended learning, particularly in online class. As we accomplish this activity, we also learn to analyze the set of ideals, values, beliefs, and goals on classroom or remote learning plan, as well as the set of criteria or standard in judging the quality of the classroom or remote learning environment. And lastly, we learn to design our own classroom floor plan that can create an appropriate and effective learning environment with the use of various digital applications such as Canva and others. This activity has 3 questions which we reflected on. For the first question, what classroom rules and procedures will we formulate to ensure discipline and order in our class? And how will we ensure the safety and security of our students? As we reflect on this question, we immerse ourselves on the various factors that must be considered in constructing classroom rules and procedures. Let us first answer the first question, what classroom rules and procedures we will formulate to ensure discipline and order in our class, wherein we highlighted 4 rules and procedures we formulated. And the first one is, always treat others with respect and kindness, which implies other small individual rules that when put into act by children, it will result a good order among the class. Second one, always keep the classroom neat and tidy, which could foster the discipline and orderliness of the class when it comes on how the students will maintain their environment clean and organized. Third one, always do your best. It is allowing the students to put efforts in everything they do, which includes trying their very best and do not be afraid of making mistakes and taking risk. And lastly, follow directions at all times. Ensuring discipline and order in class can also be done by keeping the students following directions. It is also a best practice for them to achieve best results on their learning. And to ensure the safety and security of our students, first, We will always remind them to be mindful of every action they do and be careful on clicking or accessing any site in the internet, especially that they are exposed on different informations online as they also learn online. Second one, we can also ensure the safety and security of our students by keeping them be reminded in the different safety measures, particularly in using different materials in their learning activities. And lastly, to ensure that the rules and procedures will be followed for the orderliness, security, and safety of the learners, these classroom rules and procedures will be enforced with some disciplinary measures and rewards. I will now give the floor to my other groupmate to present to you the 2 remaining reflection questions in this activity. Thank you and good day, everyone.
Good day everyone, my name is Flora May Rabanillo and I will present to you my group's reflection on the question, what strategies will you employ for rewards and consequences? So we came up with these strategies. First is giving tangible and intangible rewards that a child earns for acting or behaving correctly. So tangible rewards may consist of certificates, badges, prizes, and toys, while intangible rewards can be praises, cuddling the children, or special trips. We also has agreed upon rewards. This can be talked about between you and your student in which what reward they can get if they have a job well done. The next is the ganado panalo. In this, students may earn paper coins in which they can save and later on redeem in your ganado store, which consists of school supplies and food. So the last question that we reflected in activity 3 is, what techniques are you going to use to maximize the effectiveness of classroom management? So we came up with 4 techniques, and these are, number 1, being a model of ideal behavior. So as they say, children loves to imitate what they say to elders. So therefore, we must be a role model of every good behavior that we teach. Number 2 is involving the children on developing your own set of guidelines. So we must encourage them to build your own set of rules so that they can easily remember them. Number 3 is acknowledging students' accomplishments. So giving praises and other reinforcement to motivate them to behave accordingly. And lastly, another technique we will use to maximize the effectiveness of classroom management would be build excitement for the content of the lesson. This aims to get the interest of the students and therefore discourage misbehavior. And that is all for activity 3. I will now pass it on to Jaymark Garcia who will present the activity 4.
Good morning everyone, I am Jaymark Garcia, the last presenter for Activity 4, which is entitled Writing My First Lesson Plan. So, as directed, we seek a deputy teacher and request 2 samples of lesson plan utilizing models from Miss Ellen Eliza Pascual, a grade 3 teacher of Cayungnan Elementary School. So with that, we learned the following. First is the various lesson plan models utilized by the teachers. So, the borrowed lesson plan serve as our guide in developing and carrying out our lesson plan. One of the lesson plan is detailed lesson plan and the other one is semi-detailed lesson plan. Next is we also learn to describe the different parts of lesson plan using a specified model and congruence of a lesson plan from the intended learning outcomes to the supporting activities and assessment. So here, we describe and identify the different parts of the lesson of the 2 specified model and based on the lesson plan provided by the teacher. the intended learning outcome, the activities and assessment are all interconnected, as well as the pre-development of the lesson, the developmental activities and the post-developmental activities are all aligned with expected learning outcomes based on the objective listed above. Next is, we also learn to construct our own lesson plan using the DepEd format as indicated in the DepEd Order 42 series of 2016, incorporating the 7E model as well as constructing a TOS from the listed competencies in our learning plan. So we design our lesson plan based on the DepEd format as mentioned in the DepEd Order 42 series of 2016, which incorporates the 7E model with the assistance of the borrowed lesson plan from the teacher. We created our first draft, which is a semi-detailed lesson plan, and our final draft, which is a detailed lesson plan, as well as making TOS or table of specification and a 20-item quiz that is connected to the lesson plan we created. Let's now move on to the challenges we encountered in writing lesson plan. First is that being unfamiliar with the 7E model that used in constructing the lesson plan. So, actually, this is the first time that we prepared a lesson plan which incorporates the 7E model using the DepEd format. However, there are some similarities with the previous lesson plan that we've created before. But just like what I've said, the lesson plan we borrowed serve as our reference so that we can create a lesson plan that is suited to the pupils in teaching and learning process. Next is the variety of formats available on the internet, and we are unsure which format to utilize. So what we did in order to get an idea is that we look for the available format in the internet and lesson plan that is regularly used by a professional teacher that serve as our baseline in accomplishing the task. And last challenges in writing the lesson plan is the designing of teaching strategy that could attain the set of objectives or learning competencies considering the diverse learning needs of the students. Okay, in designing teaching strategy, we decide to create differentiated activities, teaching techniques, or strategy and assessment depending on the student's abilities to achieve the specific learning competencies that established. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. Bye-bye!